All right, everyone.
I
Welcome
can't
to
hear
Wall
what they're
Street
saying now.
Tactical. My name is Mark Verso. We have Sam Ghosh from Wall Street Tactical, and we have our guest, Jacob DiMartino from RAADR. Thanks for coming, Jacob. Really excited to have you here. And we're here to talk about, RAADR, which is an anti-bullying app that helps parents shield their kids from the ugly side of the internet. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about RAADR and its history?
Sure. First of all, thanks for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I'm excited to get the story out, get the message out, and then obviously get our product out too. So I founded RAADR in 2015. We started first with the web version, and it was just all about protecting kids from, all the online dangers that they are faced with nowadays. It's unprecedented, unfortunately, but kids are faced with so many online dangers. So we created this technology originally to monitor bullying, like you said, and be an anti-bullying software, but it does so much more than that now. Monitoring for suicide, monitoring for campus violence, and just social media etiquette, which a lot of kids do not have and don't understand that future employers and can see all of this,
Yeah.
So we've created this technology to really give a parent a snapshot of what's going on with their kid on social media in a way that really puts the ball back in the court of the parent, right? Because ultimately they're the decision maker in the household until that child's 18. That legal guardian is the decision maker. So what this tool does, this piece of technology, because really no parent has time to sift through all the social media accounts and try and find pictures that are on private accounts, and
Right.
our technology does all of that. And just with the heightened dangers of COVID too, with online predators being at an all-time high now and kids being vulnerable, I feel like this technology is perfect timing to really help our parents and kids.
Yeah, that's
Wonderful.
awesome. And I know kids have lots of different platforms that they are able to use on social media. And then they a lot of times have their public facing accounts, and then,
Mhm.
like their fake accounts, like the
Yep.
Finstagram, instead of the Instagram. So how does the technology sift through all of this? And
We rely heavily on facial recognition,
Mhm.
which is a huge part of our society. Anytime anytime a picture is posted, our technology can crawl just about anything now and find that image. So, I'll give you an example. In my own beta test with my own 15-year-old daughter, I've got data back where I wouldn't have been able to find these pictures just online. They were on her
Right.
friends' private accounts. What our technology does is crawls these social platforms by image and can find real legitimate pictures, real legitimate images that maybe parents need to know about.
Yeah.
Parents need to see.
Right.
And not just images, content, TikTok videos I found as well of my daughter being in. Again, she wasn't being bullied, but the content and the message in the video was something I had to address with her. It was not right. It wasn't
Let's
right.
talk
So,
about that a little bit, Jacob.
Mhm.
Let's talk about how your father, right?
Mhm.
And you're a concerned father, but also a CEO of RAADR.
Right.
And this came out of a position of passion.
Correct.
So
Correct.
when this came as a position from you deep within your kind of own passion, and you wanted to kind of help society with this tool, and using AI has a lot of double-edged, swords today in today's media.
Oh yeah.
People look at it as it's the enemy. It's taking away humanity. But you're trying to give power back to humanity.
Yep.
Does that sound right?
100%. 100%. We're trying to give power back to the parents. They've lost control. I feel like there have been multiple suicides and school shootings that could have been prevented, that really all stemmed from that individual being bullied. It all originates back to that. The
Right.
number one cause of death for 16-year-old girls is suicide. That's a fact. That is a fact. So that you wonder how much of that suicide bullying played into, and you wonder how much social media played into those suicides. So you're exactly right. This puts the tool a really valuable tool back into a parent's hand that they're using AI now to their benefit to really find things that could be leading to a fentanyl overdose, a rape, even a child being sex trafficked. That happens a lot here in Phoenix. Kids are abducted on the regular and thrown into sex trade. We can find that image. If it's posted online, we can find it.
A little bit about me, Jacob, that you don't know is I worked with the United Nations on an anti-human trafficking campaign.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
With Quincy. It was actually, we made a music album to kind of raise awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And we had Quincy Jones and a lot of great artists part of it. But what we learned from that was that there's a lot more of this happening in the US.
Yes.
People say, and it's not really highlighted on the human trafficking side. Now, bullying, anti-bullying is a major issue. Parents are scared of raising their kids in today's world. My fiance and I have had this conversation multiple times. How are we going to, even be aware of what's going on? There's tools on Apple. There's, AirTags. There's Find My iPhone. There's social media. You can monitor posts. But it seems like, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like RAADR is really a game changer if executed properly, that it can give parents peace of mind and also give them like a reporting tool. They're not going to, nobody wants that helicopter parent.
Right.
And
exactly.
Kids will not cooperate. They will not. Mm-hmm. And the parent can look and say, okay, I have this tool. And all of us were kids at one point.
Yeah.
Everybody was a kid at one point, right? So we know, like, okay, nobody wants their parent helicoptering around them. They don't want to be that kid that, I go and yell to mommy and daddy, right? And get bullied even more.
Mm-hmm.
So this kind of takes them away from that, right?
Yep.
Right? And it gives the parents a look to be objective, silent, but see that maybe a notification saying, okay, my son today, this person said this to my son on Twitter. Now it kind of opens a whole new conversation because PTA, there's so much negative press. Facebook, negative press. And it's hard. Look, Facebook has 2 billion plus users. Instagram has millions and millions of users. If RAADR can put this and execute, it sounds like you are doing it, and I'll stop talking and let you talk about how you're doing it. If RAADR and when RAADR does it, because it sounds like you're just a few weeks, months away from executing this. Mm-hmm. And when RAADR executes, what are the next steps for you? How are you going to launch? And then what can the parents do to use it?
Sure. Well, there's only so much that I can go into in detail and disclose, obviously, as us being a public company and talk to the future, how that can go. But I can tell you, first of all, the tool itself for a parent is complete preventative software. It's a preventative tool. The parent has to be interactive. RAADR is not going to stop a suicide themselves. It's got to take the parent using the app and following through with the warning signs. But there is no technology, you're exactly right. There's no technology that I know of right now that is specifically narrowing down to the niche of bullying, of signs for suicide, right? Signs of campus violence, right? A lot of that is documented nowadays online. Kids are doing that. They're crying out for help. They're throwing these things. So a parent should feel good for no cost to be able to download an app and have a piece of technology now that their child doesn't even really need to know they're being monitored, right? Because that's how AI works. Their child doesn't need to know they're being monitored, but at the same token, a parent needs to know, what is my kid really engaged in? What is happening with him online? I need a snapshot of that, like you said, an alert from time to time to see what they're engaged in, what they're doing, because pictures and videos, believe me, can be very, very harmful, especially if not addressed. And even along the lines of social media etiquette, the way young girls present themselves online may not be how they really are in the real world, right? But image is everything. So those are all types of preventative things that a parent is going to find a huge value proposition in using the RAADR app. And to answer your question about moving forward, the biggest thing for us moving forward when the app is out is creating relationships with distribution channels. Companies, I'll give you an example, just an example. Walmart's a perfect example. Companies that are big in size, companies that have a message already of family, of, community, right? The National Basketball Association, that'd be a great organization for us, and the NFL to target. Again, you're asking where we want to go. We want to go and align ourselves with organizations that have millions, if not hundreds of millions of parents on them and kids. And we want them to know now there's an app out that can really, really, really give you a snapshot of what's going on with your kid.
I see. And I was going to just touch on the latest press release. You're also monitoring the NFT space. Can you touch a little bit about that?
Yeah, this is something I'm excited to talk about, even and let shareholders know about. The metaverse, as we know, is going to be big. We know that NFTs have already created a world of their own. And unfortunately, within NFTs, which this has been very public, there have been things like child pornography as images in NFTs. There have been a lot of things that are very harmful already to kids that are being put on the blockchain. So our technology, we know, can crawl the blockchain. We know it can find images. That's what the core of our technology does, Sam. It is facial recognition. So we're happy to announce that we can crawl the blockchain. Again, this is a future type of thing for us, but we all know how fast things change in social media. So the future, we know, is going to be metaverse. We know is going to be highly tied into NFT images. And we know that's going to present a whole new bucket of online dangers for parents. So we are prepping and planning for that, because any good tech company has to stay ahead of the curve.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to now transition a little bit more to the business side and the stock, and I'll let Mark kind of ask some questions about the management team, et cetera. So go ahead.
Yeah. So in regards to, the cost of RAADR, tell us a little bit more about, what it costs for a user and what the costs are on RAADR's side in order to run the app.
Right. Right now, everything is highly based on our servers, right? What our servers can hold, what we're doing with those, and that breaks down most of our hard costs. Because remember, a subscriber is not paying for the app. We're going with an advertising model and to align ourselves with really big organizations to create revenue for the company and for shareholders. I want the product to be free. I don't want any competitor out there to be able to have a better service or better offer than we do in the social media monitoring space. I'm just going to let that be clear. So there are competitors, and we have undercut all of them. Most of them, their cost is $20 or $30 a month, and they also require the child to download the monitoring app onto their phone.
Right. We already said kids are not going to comply.
Yeah. Exactly. We all know kids, how smart kids are nowadays. I've got a 15-year-old that knows technology better than I do when it comes to phones. So if they know they're being monitored, it's over. So that sets us apart big time. But as far as the hard costs and what it really costs to run RAADR, right now we haven't determined the actual cost per acquisition. It's varied from $30 to $50, which I think at time will come down once we actually are able to determine what it actually costs to get one download, right? When the company has that determined, then I can give a more accurate answer. But right now we're looking at things all based off of really, what it's going to cost to maintain the server. And, if we were to get 20,000 downloads in one day, 25,000 downloads in one day, what that looks like in a grand scheme of things for us to manage that.
Gotcha. So in terms of server costs, are you using, AWS as a fixed server? Is it?
We do use AWS. That's exactly right. I've found great results with them. They're really, really efficient, and it's a top-notch service. So you've got to go with the best.
Gotcha. Are you in, a serverless architecture?
That's a really good question. Probably more suited for maybe our developer, a senior developer, but I would have to defer that one to him. I apologize. I would think yes. That sounds familiar, but to go on the record saying that, I'd feel comfortable,
No, that's okay. I mean,
deferring that to him.
Really, what we want to talk about now is, we saw the last press release. We saw the public screens that you posted. Looks good. The UI looks nice. The press release was very informative for the shareholders. I think, is there anything you would like to say to the shareholders, to the viewers of Wall Street Tactical? We have to disclose, parts of Wall Street Tactical are shareholders of RAADR. What do you want to say without releasing anything that's not public information, to prospective investors and to viewers and shareholders?
Sure. I mean, when it comes to shareholders, and potential shareholders and anybody watching this, first of all, I want them to look at what the company's doing, what our story is, what we're about. We are the internet anti-bullying company. I've looked through all the OTC companies. There are no other companies on the OTC that claim to be the internet anti-bullying company. Right there alone is going to tell you something about the company, what we're dedicated to doing. We're small right now, even on the market, we're small, but this is a great time for any investor that's looking for a new company to get involved in, to support, to invest in, to really take a hard look at RAADR. We've released and talked about that we're going to have our signature app out on the 30th of this month. Okay. And what I want people to know is when that app is out, I want every single person that is considered a parent or a legal guardian to download it and tell me what they think. Okay. I'm very public on Twitter. People can reach out to me. I have a following right now. A lot of people are anticipating this launch, and I'm very excited. And what I want shareholders to know is first of all, to use the app before anything. Download it, use it, especially if, like I said, you're a parent or a legal guardian.
Let's talk a little bit about that market segment, parents and legal guardians, only in the U.S. How big do you see that market segment for you? Obviously, you want to dominate that market share in that market segment. So
exactly.
That's number one. And then number two, you've identified that as your market segment, but then next, the current gap in the market that needs to be filled, right? The current need. Talk a little bit about those 2 points.
The current market sector, first of all, if you look at every child, they typically have two parents, even if they're in a separated type atmosphere, right? Separated homes. So we're looking at every kid getting at least 2 downloads from, right? And that would be from mom and dad or the legal guardians. Right now, there is no social media monitoring space or, competitor or anybody that can offer a service to a parent at no cost to let them monitor their child through keywords and images. So to me, the space is just huge for growth and for the space that we want to get into as well. We also have another signature app that we're working on called Bully Radar, which allows kids, that's a reporting app that allows kids and students to report online violence and campus violence, suicide, all from at school to administrators to parents. It's all connected. So to answer your question, that's the next sector we go in. That's the next opportunity for us is once we have established our name with parents, we now will attack the schools. We will go to places that are, I call, high incident areas, as for example, Oxford, Michigan, and a shooting there a few weeks ago that took the life of 4 kids, highly documented on social media. The shooter was telling everybody what he was going to do. He took pictures, he posted. Kids knew he was going to come and shoot up the school, but yet no one did anything. And that is the next area we go into. That is our next feat for RAADR, is to totally dominate every school in the United States and have kids using our reporting tool, which has already worked, by the way, to stop these type of incidences.
Great. It is a big concern. We know in the United States, bullying is real everywhere. We know it's real here. We know it's real across the globe. We know it's happening on social media. You see it happening in real time on YouTube, right? You see it happening in real time on Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok. And it will continue because it's a big part of human nature and natural systems. But at least giving a parent a notification so they can take steps and be proactive instead of reactive. The biggest thing is being proactive. And if a parent is reactive to the situation, it can mean literally life or death. And, and it can affect their academic performance, their potential future, the people that kids hang around with, and the productivity of a society at whole. I think that's something that people are not really understanding, that when you have strong communities, strong families, strong proactive approach to this, society as a whole might see an uptick in productivity. And that could kind of interlay into, you know, real estate prices in an area. Lots of different externalities as we study in economics. So positive externalities are great. Rising education and value is great, and understanding kind of what's the real look at a school system or at a child's, you know, peer system, right? What's the real story there? Now, will that prevent kids from posting? Will that prevent them from acting naturally on social media and move bullying off of social media? Maybe, maybe not. That's a different discussion. Regardless, this is a tool I feel that parents need and legal guardians need. And you're doing great work, in my opinion. Obviously, I'm not going to discuss the rest of that. We'll look forward to your launch. Very excited to see the app. Very excited to see it in use. And yeah,
Jacob,
go ahead, Mark.
Jacob, I just want to ask you. So it sounds like you have a plan to target, you know, specific communities. You already have a strong internet following as well. Is that your main marketing strategy, or how do you plan to market the app to target those communities?
Yeah, there's a couple different ways. It's a great question. I think first you look at social media, you know, you've got to look there, right? And we're going to have a concerted effort online. You know, I've got some individuals that work for the company as consultants that are associated to some high profile celebrity athletes, guys that are family oriented, guys that have been in front of millions of people playing sports and now want to help, right? They want to get out the good message. So, because, you know, Sam, you made a good point. You know, the family in whole has been fractured in society. Again, I'm not saying this to be corny or cliches, but I feel like RAADR, this technology, can help us get back to addressing these type of things that need to be stopped, that need to be solved, maybe that parents have no clue that are going on, and can help build up our communities, you know, and build up each other. You know, the best thing that can happen is a parent download our app, start using it, talk to their kid, and then not have to use it as much anymore, right? Because their kid isn't engaged in anything anymore. Now, you know, example with my daughter, you know, she thinks twice before any type of picture she gets in with any of her girlfriends, regardless if it's a private account on Instagram, because she knows dad can find it, right? And that'll be great when millions of other little girls across the country that are 15 years old, that are good kids, but maybe just not the right etiquette online. And it's going to help dads.
It'll deter the bad actors too.
And, exactly.
And it'll put them where they should be, in the shadows. And you know, the bottom line is, people, predators, and bullies, sometimes they're just, you know, angry, etc.
Right.
It'll get people thinking and having this discussion. When you're on Facebook, everybody's worried about, oh, if I post something, is somebody going to say something bad about it? Everybody. It's since Instagram and Facebook now, and it hasn't been very long in humanity. If you look at the spectrum, it's only been like a microscope of time. So 20 years, right? 20 years is that's how long it's been. And I was there when Facebook had the first version at Northwestern University, only allowed it to collegiate special colleges. And the first version of Facebook, it was like just a web version, like a website. It wasn't an app. There was no mobile app. There wasn't even an app store. And this was in 2005.
Yeah.
And in 2005, Facebook started, and it started going, and it became a dating tool, like the poke on Facebook. They don't even have that anymore, probably. So now what happens is kids, and studies have shown, obviously the whistleblower came out with the report, but studies have shown the dopamine levels are changing, and kids,
Yes,
the new generation is very sad and worried always, and conscious about what is the objective of a company, right? And at the end of the day, parents are not trying to be helicopter parents, but they need to know when their kids are at risk and when their kids are being threatened by a force that they cannot control, right? And then that kind of comes back into the family and at home. So great. And when you said end of this month, we're looking.
Yeah, our anticipated launch to the public is January 30th. Right now, I'm excited to let anybody out there know that's a shareholder or maybe a shareholder. We're currently in our conversion process. So basically, we're hooking the back end up to the front end. And we've got a beautiful new design that we've got really, really up to date. And I'm excited for our users, potential users, shareholders, anybody out there to be able to take this technology, use it, like you said, not to be a helicopter parent, but to have a snapshot, to know prevention is huge nowadays. And this is what it's all about.
And Jacob,
one second. My final question was, can RAADR be used also to prevent workplace bullying as well?
Sam, that's a great point. As we all know, adults, even in my own scenario, I've been bullied online. We all, we see it all the time. Political, if it's about COVID, if it's whatever it's about, somebody will step in and bully. So, Sam, it's not only a great question, that I think is a whole nother business itself. It's very synergistic. But my passion, which I go back to, is kids and parents right now. That's my passion. That's where I'm at. I'm not saying that that's not important, what you're talking about. That's really, really important. But I think that's maybe more future talk and something that we could easily expand into. I just feel the focus is on our youth. That's where we need it.
Right now. I just think people could use it if they want it. It has a dual use.
Yep.
And Jacob, on that note, how would you measure the company's, success? And I know an important milestone is first releasing the app. But what milestones do you have?
Great question. First milestone, obviously, is get the app out to the public, and then by the middle of March to have at least 10,000 subscribers that have downloaded the app, that are using it. We're going to look at all the analytics, how long they're using it. I truly feel, I'm not just making this statement, I truly feel just out of 10,000 subscribers, we will have incredible stories. We will have things where parents are going to say, wow, I found this out. Wow, just like I did with my own child. So I feel like that value proposition alone, we're going to get a lot of really good testimonials. We're going to get a lot of really good feedback. And then from there, the next goal would be to have 20,000 subscribers within another 60 days. And then, continue to scale up. But those are our first three big milestones right there to get public, to get to 10K, then 20K subscribers.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Well, I'll let you have the closing words here, Jacob. And if you'd like to just, give a final piece to the viewers and any potential shareholders or people who are looking at trading or taking a position.
Again, I appreciate your guys' time too. Remember, this is something very special. Nothing like this is on the OTC. We are truly the internet anti-bullying company. The company's passion is to create technology for parents and kids to be able to battle all these online dangers. So I feel like any potential shareholder should, first of all, take that into serious consideration of what our goal is here. Sorry, did I lose you guys? What our goal is here. And secondly, so much potential. We're small right now. So any savvy investor would know, hey, look, they're small right now, but the potential for growth is astronomical given the space that we're in and the time that we're in society, like we've talked about. This would be huge for somebody to come in and, invest into RAADR when we're this small, because I know what the future holds. So it's a great opportunity right now. It'll always be a great opportunity, but we know how that goes when it comes to getting in early, right? So we are still early stages. So I'll tell any investor, take a hard look at us.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Jacob, for your time today and telling us about RAADR. We look forward to seeing more. And all the viewers of Wall Street Tactical, take a look at RAADR. And thank you.
Awesome. Super excited, guys. God bless and have a great rest of your day.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.